Well, some things are really changing, along with it, some month of despair, and the despair is quite honestly very huge right now. It is the chapter 257 from me, the Angry and Fan Despair reviewer, although I'm only gonna review it in zero, and I'm very likely soon gonna retire from that. And we get small glimpses of insight into the Dark Star and Shining Star's past, while simultaneously getting attacked by Eden's One. All while having one last name drop in the very last panel of this chapter, which brings forth a huge reveal. Well, or maybe I should say a reveal that is huge, even though it seems so small. The chapter begins, of course, with Pino still being unconscious. It's the fact that Sister mentions that she cannot find anything wrong with her systems, so it's not exactly known what has happened. But as I think her mind merely overloaded with all information, and she entered into overloaded with any information. She says she needs the synthetic android energy, but then alarm begins to dim in as large amount of dragons begins to swarm, and with it along God Aknuela. This time now in the same form when she actually decided to attack, apparently having followed them through the sense of smell. Well, that's kind of cheap of it all. With the dragons now attacking, the gangs realize also they don't have dragon ether bullets, so the gang decides to buy some time while Hermito tries to do that, while Valkyrie heads out into space to slash them all down. However, before she does that, she is confronted by none other than Brigidane. Yes, Eden's One is here as well. As Brigidane confronts Valkyrie, he acknowledges her as the Valkyrie, and so they begins to clash, saying everything begins now. And indeed, the clash does seem to be in Brigidane's favor. As we all recall in the previous world, his desire was to fight her, but as we have seen from or at least that we're beginning to see from the past memories, the truth of the relationship may make this even more tragic. But things do not end with despair there, as suddenly a huge amount of energy spreads through the Eden Zero and stops a little bit of the electronics, and with it a teleportation as their system has been hacked, and the one who appears right behind, which is none other than Wizard, confronting her saying, "I will destroy you." However, the truth of that relationship is also tragic, as we saw in Shiki's flashback of it all. Witch and Wizard apparently used to be what looked like attorneys that were flirting with each other, and well, the last panel of this chapter in their past confirms that it was way more than that, because 20,000 years ago, on the beach where Yuna, aka Valkyrie, were surfing, she was actually hanging out with Brigane, who I very guarantee must have been her boyfriend. We still don't know his real name, but the very first name of the Dark Stars are dropped here, as Yuna is looking to a picture of where we see Regret, Ivy, and Yuna. The weird thing is, in that picture, Ivy, who we all know is very boyish in this in the main universe, or at least in the future, actually looks almost like a kid. I mean, maybe she's sitting down. But there's another one in the picture, and that is the guy who became known as Wizard. And what was his real name? None other than Leonard. And he was Regret's fiancé. So why is that apparent? Well, because Leonard, isn't that extremely sounding similar to that planet of Leonard? It may not be the exact same name, but it seems to imply that Wizard Leonard's real name actually was inspiration for the planet of Leonard. Granted, it may not. Maybe the planet's name was Leonard without an O here, but I'm still saying, oh, that's a coincidence. But yes, in the ancient pasts, not only were the Brigade Human and Yuna together, but it turns out that Wizard, aka Leonard, was Regret's, aka which, fiancé. Yeah, the past is really bringing forth future despair. No wonder Pino cried when she found out the truth about everything, because this is a horrible fate that has awaited them. But the biggest question still is not answered. How did they became who they became? Not to mention, this was 20,000 years ago. Well, the answers are not yet there, but they'll probably never get there. At least not yet. So, either way, despair has begun. Give me your thoughts, if you have any.